Welcome to your November 2025 Global Privacy Roundup. This month brought a wave of major privacy and cybersecurity developments, with 13 key updates from North and South America, 9 major developments across Europe and Africa, and 9 significant updates from Asia. Let's dive into the top developments. November began with critical regulatory updates across North and South America. We begin on November 1, 2025, when New York's final phase of the NYDFS Cybersecurity Regulation amendments took effect, expanding MFA requirements and mandating formal asset inventory practices for all covered financial entities. Moving to November 5th, California rebranded its privacy agency as CalPrivacy, releasing new public guidance and privacy tips. California also published new details on its upcoming centralized deletion platform, Drop, launching in January 2026. On the same day, New York's Attorney General issued a consumer alert ahead of the state's Algorithmic Pricing Disclosure Act, reminding businesses to clearly disclose when prices are set using personal data. On November 6th, New York, California, and Connecticut secured a $5.1 million settlement with Illuminate Education over a major student data breach. On November 7th, Ecuador barred the use of legitimate interest to collect sensitive data, children's data, or audio-based surveillance recordings. On November 10th, New York's Algorithmic Pricing Act officially took effect, requiring clear disclosure when algorithms influence pricing and imposing penalties for noncompliance. On November 12th, the U.S. temporarily reauthorized CISA 2015 through January 2026, restoring liability protections for organizations sharing cyber threat information. Brazil's NPD also concluded its review of WhatsApp metadata sharing practices, requiring an external audit and improved transparency. Next, on November 13th, the White House issued an executive order focused on children's digital safety and modernizing child welfare data systems. California also received approval for its Delete Act regulations, setting the stage for the Drop platform to become operational in 2026. On November 19th, CalPrivacy created a data broker enforcement strike force to strengthen oversight of Delete Act and CCPA compliance across California's data broker ecosystem. On November 20th, Canadian regulators issued a joint resolution emphasizing stronger protections for children's privacy in ed-tech environments. California also published an infographic detailing key CCPA changes taking effect January 1, 2026. On November 21st, California announced a $1.4 million settlement with Jam City for CCPA violations, including unlawful sharing of minors' data without opt-in consent. Finally, on November 24th, the FCC reached a $1.5 million settlement with Comcast following a vendor-related data breach affecting over 235,000 customers, reinforcing that companies remain responsible for vendor data governance failures. Now moving to Europe and Africa, where the news updates highlight a strong trend toward regulatory harmonization and simplification across data, cyber, and the digital economy. On November 4, 2025, the Data State Inspectorate DVI in Latvia clarified that website operators must enable users to withdraw consent for non-essential cookies as easily as it was given, discouraging practices that hinder consent revocation. On the same date, the Federal Commissioner for Data Protection and Freedom of Information (BFDI) approved the first consent manager under the Consent Management Ordinance, promoting user-friendly management of user data and data protection in Germany. Moving to November 17th, the Council of the EU adopted a new regulation streamlining cross-border GDPR complaints, introducing unified criteria and clear deadlines for investigations across the EU. On November 18th, Norway's DPA issued new guidance for credit reporting agencies, clarifying retention limits and restricting the use of archive data for current credit assessments. The following day, November 19, 2025, the European supervisory authorities published the first list of designated critical ICT third-party providers under DORA. On the same day, the EU General Court dismissed Amazon's legal challenge, affirming the proportionality and lawfulness of its designation as a very large online platform VLOP under the Digital Services Act (DSA). Concurrently, the European Commission unveiled the Digital Omnibus Regulation proposal, which aims to simplify and harmonize the EU's digital landscape by proposing changes to key regulations such as the GDPR, e-Privacy Directive, GDPR, NIS2, and Data Act. Then, on November 24, 2025, the Danish Data Protection Authority DPA issued guidance stating that suppliers must rely on legitimate interest to disclose employee data to contracting authorities, ensuring only necessary data is shared and employee rights are respected. Lastly, on November 25, 2025, Spanish Data Protection Agency fined airport operator INA €10.04 million for improper facial recognition processing and failing to conduct a valid DPIA. Now to Asia, where November brought several major privacy and cybersecurity updates across the region. We start on November 1st, when China's CC implemented its new cybersecurity incident reporting measures, requiring all network operators to classify incidents and submit a post-incident report within 30 days. On November 3rd, New Zealand's Biometric Processing Privacy Code took effect, introducing 13 rules for biometric data governance and requiring organizations to align their collection, storage, and use practices with the new standards. On November 4th, Vietnam issued its National Data Architecture Framework, creating unified principles for data collection, sharing, and cybersecurity across all government bodies. On November 5th, Australia's OAIC released its annual report, noting increases in privacy complaints and data breach notifications, with the health sector again leading in reported incidents. On November 6th, Bangladesh enacted its new Data Protection Ordinance, establishing a modern legal framework for privacy, governance, and security obligations that apply to both local and foreign organizations processing Bangladeshi data. On November 13th, two developments followed. India released the Digital Data Protection Rules of 2025, detailing operational duties under the DPDPA, and China's ISC and Korea's KISA renewed their long-standing MOU on cybersecurity, data protection, and AI governance cooperation. And on November 24th, Taiwan announced major amendments to its PDPA, formally establishing the PDPC as an independent regulator and strengthening breach notification, security, and cross-border data transfer requirements. That same day, Australia proposed the My Face, My Rights bill to criminalize the non-consensual creation and sharing of realistic deepfakes, marking a significant shift toward targeted regulation of AI-generated harms. Before we sign off, here's what to watch next. Brazil's LGBT amendment bill continues to move forward, proposing bans on sensitive data sales and tighter biometric rules. In the U.S., Massachusetts is considering a new privacy law, and a December 2nd congressional hearing will review a package of bills aimed at better protecting kids online. Across Europe, the EDPB's consultation on standardized GDPR templates closes December 3rd, and the UK's Cybersecurity and Resilience Bill awaits its next parliamentary stage. And Australia will implement new social media minimum age guidance on December 10th, followed by updated SMS ID register rules on December 15th. That's a wrap for this month. Stay informed, stay compliant. See you next month.